be sure to subscribe, because once I reach 200 subscribers, which isn't very far away, I have a date with this river. I'll be jumping in it. As you can see, it should be soon because I want it to be nice and icy. Hello everyone. It is nice to be talking to you again. As Bjorn said in one of his more recent videos, I am right now talking to my favorite person, and that's you. Not stealing his phrase or anything, but at the moment, it actually is true for a lot of you watching. So, today I would like to speak on a certain subject that I found most interesting and in-depth. And that comes from Bjorn Andreas Bull-Hansen's latest, I think it's his latest, video about having a purpose and how important it is. Now, so this isn't exactly a response video, but it's more of a what I thought of after seeing the video, and it is a very important subject, I believe, to us people, because humans do need a purpose. Now I have to choose my words carefully for this next part, and it's important to speak clearly in these matters and what we think. I was wondering, is perhaps a purpose so important that it could be somewhat of a cure for things like depression, anxiety, and other such internal conflicts? Because what is depression in some cases? Boredom, I believe. We have an inner sense of very dark boredom in such cases. And boredom is caused by lack of purpose. Now, we can be bored even when we're doing something that we don't like. Could it be that many of us nowadays need to find our purpose? For there are many people with no purpose. I mean, even myself included sometimes struggles to know what that purpose is. Even children want a purpose. That is why they play. That is why they play house. It's why they play with dolls. It's why when I was growing up, my purpose was to be the great general to many G.I. Joes. Because what does having a purpose do for us? Does it make us busy? Well, basically, yes. It makes us have less thinking about our problems and what we're thinking of right now and all those things that go swirling inside your head, and more about the goals in that what we need to do next. But then we ask the question, what even is a purpose? Well, I suppose it can be different for many people, but I see a purpose as what we can do for the world and how we can better serve the world. By now, we can help the world in all sorts of ways. But in order for something to be your purpose, you have to enjoy it. Now, we can do our work and take care of things and just say that's our purpose, but in order for it to be your purpose, I believe you have to enjoy it. That's the point, is you need to decide your purpose. It's like if you're in the military, that can be a purpose, but for some, it isn't. For some, it's merely a job. For others, it's something to strive towards. They see it themselves as helping their country or helping something. I believe that a purpose has to be about helping and serving in some way or another. That's why, parents, they have their purpose to be good parents. Hello, Hunin and Moonin. But then as that goes, our purposes can change, as Bjorn said. And that's when we'll need to find a new purpose. And so that's the point, is that the purpose is decided by you and not what is thrown at you. You decide it. Now we can have multiple purposes. And I think it's best to have multiple purposes. Because then when one goes, we have the other. I'm sure you're seeing why it is true, why that is true, that is what we need. Because if we don't have it, we start to become bored, we don't know what we're doing, we start to question who we are, we wonder what is the meaning behind everything, and our minds start to break down, we go into dark places, we sit and think about the problems, dark places that us humans are really famous for getting ourselves into. Oh, hello? Yeah, that's right. My glasses changed. You see, I have new ones. And so I switched them out. Because the camera died, and I had to walk all the way back, and back here. And these are my old ones, so I like having them on camera better. But you got a little glimpse. So anyway, suffer for the art. Having a purpose can keep us out of those places, then it's a very important thing. It reminds me of this poem. Work without hope. All nature seems at work. Slugs leave their lair, the bees are stirring, birds are on the wing, and winter slumbering in the open air. Wears on his smiling face a dream of spring, and I the while, the sole, unbusy thing. Nor honey make, nor pair, nor build, nor sing. Yet well I ken the banks where amaranths blow, have traced the font whence streams of nectar flow. Bloom, O ye amaranth, bloom for whom ye may. For me, ye bloom not, glide rich streams away. With lips unbrightened, weathered brow, I stroll, and would you learn the spell of that drowse my soul. Work without hope draws nectar in a sieve, and hope without an object cannot live. Having a purpose is a state of nature that everything in nature has, and only we have found it complicated because we have so many different choices. Well, when you don't have a purpose, as I said, you get drawn into those dark places. You can get addicted to things. You perhaps need to drink more. You need something to fill that emptiness within our own minds. When you have lots of room to think, like we do, not having that space filled causes it to be filled with darkness. It needs to be filled with light. Take even a simple example. Take my grandparents. They were very simple people. They were born in the 20s and they just did what you would expect. I mean, their life wasn't completely fulfilled, but they at least had a purpose. They would go volunteer at the hospital. They would work as they did and feel like that was what they did. They were parents for a time, and then and also they had each other, which having somebody else can be a purpose in itself. Though, as we'll see by the end of the story, it's sometimes not good to only have that as your only purpose. Near the end of their life, they were put into an old person's home, which they really didn't want to, but they felt that they had to, and slowly they withered. They did nothing. My grandfather, I feel he started to need to have a purpose, so he felt he needed to take responsibility for what comes next, and he died. And then grandmother was left on her own, and she, without the only thing she had a purpose for gone, she slowly withered away. But even in her last week of life, she spoke about how in her state of going backwards near the end, she spoke about how she needed to find a job, how she needed to get the horses in. Even then, her mind was seeking a purpose. Even someone who is, say, mentally challenged, like, what happens if you were to put them in an asylum, the old-fashioned ones, you know? They would sit in a room and slowly go mad and get bored out of their minds, and their condition would get worse. But say you gave them something to be occupied with, most of the time, they would get better. They would start to feel like they had something to focus on. They would get rid of those dark spaces for things to cloud up. So find what you want to do to help the world. Bjorn said how your purpose shouldn't be about being happy. It's very true. And that's not because it's a bad thing to do so, it's because it's impossible. Fulfilling your purpose makes you happy. It's what brings happiness and joy, as well as being content, but it will bring happiness and joy and busyness. And so happiness and joy is the symptom, not the cause of purpose. But find what you want to do to serve the world, and if you're not doing anything right now, see yourself as if you are until the time comes when you are enjoying what you do. Only you can decide your purpose, and you alone. And nothing that you want is out of your reach. Eye the tiger, baby. Go out there and get it. And keep it simple. And be sure to like and subscribe and get me into that river. 200. It's coming. Ice, ice, baby.